Do we have anybody for public forum?
Would you like to accept the agenda first?
I can do that, sure. I need a motion to accept the agenda. Is there a second? Ron, Margaret? There is a walk-on resolution on the agenda that you didn't see before you got here. That's to approve the amendment to the superintendent's employee contract. Any other questions on the agenda? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. And now, is there anybody for public forum? The answer is still no.
The answer is still no.
Okay, we have some advisory committees that we are trying to get members put on. So I'm going to nominate Molly as a member of the audit committee.
I accept.
Do we have a second? Margaret, all in favor? We have to fill a spot on the negotiations committee. I'd like to nominate Molly as a member.
I accept.
Second, Margaret, all in favor? And last but not least, the DEI committee, I would like to nominate Molly as a member.
I accept.
Didn't see that coming. And Margaret's a second. Did you accept?
I did.
Thank you.
Thank you for double checking.
All right. All in favor? Thank you.
I'm on that committee, I got.
Taking her on.
Now we have the acceptance of the consensus agenda. That includes some meeting minutes and CSE, CPSE recommendations. I need a motion. Go Margaret and second Molly. Is there any discussion? Any questions? All in favor? And now we're on to some presentations. The summer school recap.
All right, I don't know if you get that or my computer. Where would you like us to stand?
Probably
Over there?
right out here, and
Okay.
because we have these screens, but that's the nice
It's a new
one.
room.
So I just want to acknowledge Katie Rodriguez, who is one of our literacy teachers at the elementary, who also has her administrative degree and was our summer coordinator, and Elsa Courtright Torres, who has worked with her. And I think you're going to be really excited to hear about our summer programming this year. So thank you both for being here and presenting.
Thank you. So before we start, I just wanted to showcase this quote. This was from one of our summer school teachers, and I just wanted to include it because for me, it really does sum up my experience with summer school. This is the first time I've done this kind of coordinator position. And I just loved the connections that this person made. Connections were made because of the small class sizes. The individuals can feel like they're more than just a number. During the regular school year, it's possible to go through a whole day and not once have anyone talk to you. I felt like I got to know the students more as individuals, not just as students, and you can really build rapport. And I just felt like, for me, my experience doing this and working with the kids and the teachers this summer, just really that potential and that opportunity to build community, not just in our building, but within our community, I thought was just a really powerful experience for me. So I really appreciate the opportunity to do that. So I'm going to start by talking about the Titan Voyager. Again, this is something that we've done for the past couple of years. The Titan Voyager is a mobile classroom and STEM experience. It's run by This summer was run by 4 of our teachers, our elementary teachers, and 1 high school teacher. And we were actually lucky enough to pick up another day camp this summer in Ankara. So now we have 4 day camps that we were traveling to, and we provided hands-on, project-based learning, STEM lessons for the grade bands of K through 6. So some of the activities that they worked on were they worked on different project-based lessons. So the first week they worked on Nature and Survival Week. As you can tell, my little Piper, I love her. They really did a wonderful job of differentiating between the grade levels, but still maintaining integrity to the topic of learning. So the younger kids were building rainbows by going out into nature and finding things in the color of the rainbow, while the older campers had to find in nature materials to build animal shelters. And as you can see, lots of happy faces for this one. Another program lesson that they've worked on, again, working heavily in the STEM area, weather and natural disasters, really touching base on all of our age groups, with the youngest kids building cloud patterns, using Legos, all the way up to the older kids building their own self-contained tornadoes. And this is a project that the kids, they said, absolutely loved being a part of. Safari Week, not only were there still hands-on projects as always, but we still incorporated some pretty regular research-based lessons so that kids had the opportunity to learn about animal adaptations in the safari, surrounding safari adaptations. Okay. Under the Sea Week, this is a new lesson that they designed. And I just love to see the fact that it's not just our kids in our building, in our district, but really reaching out to all kids in the local townships. But very, again, hands-on, creating their own jellyfish, stained glass jellyfish. The older kids got to create their own ocean and design it, and self-contained. And then we had the kids, and I love this, the middle kids had to create a trap that could transport an injured shark to a rehabilitation center. And of course, a lot of that had to be generating background knowledge through research. And then they always bring this back, they tell me every year, because it's a big favorite, Space and Aviation Week, where the younger kids were building and painting and flying wooden airplanes after learning about aviation, and then all the way up to the older kids who got to build actually ball rockets. So that is a big winner. Excellent feedback from the community, and the teacher said it was a huge success. So one of the things that when I was asked to do this, take on this position, I will admit I was a bit overwhelmed, because I did know that there were some challenges and some changes that were coming up, and I was a little bit nervous about. So I just kind of wanted to share with you some of that. So I knew going in that there wasn't going to be a lot of planning time with the secondary teachers in the credit recovery program. I knew that no students passed the summer regions last year. I knew that attendance was an issue. We had trouble keeping kids in the program. I also knew, just from speaking with guidance department members, that this particular group of kids, we had several who had some pretty challenging home lives. And just to kind of put the icing on the cake, we were revamping the Bridges Middle School program. So there were a lot of things in play. So I just wanted to kind of share those challenges that I felt going in, and then show you some of the things that we did during the program. So the Bridges program, in order to kind of address some of those challenges, I actually met with the teachers in June before the summer program even started. And we met for several hours to design a new program. And the teachers poured through the state standards. We selected 6 essential standards in math and ELA to incorporate more rigor into the program. Prior to this, the last couple of years, the program was very heavy in field trip based. We wanted to do something that didn't lose that project-based feel, but we wanted to make sure the kids were getting that rigor. So, excellent instructors, Chad Davey, Brandy Barnes, Fred Hutchinson, Martine Van Ness, excellent team, came up with a thematic unit of how the Hudson River helped to shape the American colonial system. And through that, and through an incredibly strong co-teaching model, they really immersed the kids in their local history. So these are some of the things that they did that I wanted to showcase. So in learning about the Hudson River, they wanted to be able to balance academics in the classroom with some immersive hands-on experiences. So, for example, to introduce the Hudson River to these kids, they took them on a 2-hour-long cruise down to the Athens Lighthouse where they learned about piracy on the Hudson River. They learned about commerce. They learned about settlements. And then they brought the kids back to do more in-depth background building so that the kids could prepare for the next level of the thematic unit, which was building their own Hudson River to scale. So the kids collaborated and they built a Hudson River that ran from New York City all the way up to northern New York State. And it took the whole science wing and they included their own landmarks. And that was in preparation for the next activity, which really sharpened their math and science skills. So kids designed and then built to scale their own cargo ships. Now, these cargo ships, eventually at the very end, you can see the far picture, these cargo ships were actually used in a competition to see which ones were the most seaworthy and which ones could hold the most cargo. And if you've ever been in a room with 15 middle school kids that are competing against one another, it was awesome. So they ended up having a blast doing this. And then, of course, we didn't want to take away that ability to get out in the community and make those connections. So we did have a couple of field trips to historical sites. They went to Cherry Hill, which is the Van Rensselaer family historical home in Albany, and they got to partake in a really cool project, which was, if you're not familiar with the history, there was a murder in the Van Rensselaer home 200 years ago. And so the kids were able to tour the home, and along the tour, they picked up clues and primary documents, and they had to collaborate in teams to solve the murder. And they had a blast. We also had them go to the Scotts family home, which is one of the oldest homes in the area, and the family has a lot of history, so they were able to go visit that. And the tie-in, which was really nice, is it's a part of Fred Hutchinson's family's history too. So he got to make that kind of connection with his kids and share his family history. So overall, participation and attendance, we originally had 17 students register, 15 ended up attending. I was so proud of these kids. 14 of the kids had 90 to 100% attendance. And only one student had 80 to 90. And all students passed the program. Now, the reason that we can look at this and say that looks pretty good, but one of the things that really meant something to me was we had a couple of students that really stick out to me. One had about, and I'm not sure of the number, but I'm going to say roughly 98 absences during the school year. This student never came to school. And this student had only one absence all summer. She struggled with relationships, finding a place in school. I'm not going to lie, she had some issues with the bus, but even when she didn't have the bus, she came in. She found a way in. And she made friends that she normally wouldn't have associated with during the school year. So that, to me, just made me so proud of her, and she was proud of herself. Or the other student that struggles, even during the regular school year, with anxiety and ADHD. The teacher would take him to go play basketball for 5 minutes when he couldn't sit still any longer. So those are the kind of relationships that, show that what this kind of focus and this kind of community can really help with. So on to credit recovery. Now, again, for credit recovery, we had a couple of different challenges. One, we started with a new schedule that was different from last year. So instead of 4 days a week with each class being 1 hour, we went to 3 days a week with 2 2-hour blocks each day. Really good opportunity for our teachers to build that one-on-one interaction and build some targeted instruction, go in depth with the course, but also, concern of mine, concern of the teachers, that's a long time. So there were some concerns around that. The instructors for our credit recovery this year were Michael Keegan, Cassie Kerner, Angela Webster, and Brianna Beebe. They ran the independent algebra review class. Diana Nelson, Tom Russo, Jessica Van Alstyne, and Emery Slater was our TA. Overall, the attendance, 20 students were regionally registered, 18 started the program, 17 finished. Again, I was very pleased with the attendance for the secondary level for the credit recovery. 12 students were there 90 to 100% of the time. That's only one absence. 5 students had 70 to 80%. That's 2 absences. We only had lost 1 student due to chronic absenteeism. And we tried our best with support from guidance, phone calls home, conversations with mom, but it didn't work out. So on to the results. So out of all the students that needed the credit recovery, 87% earned their credit recovery. They earned their credits back. For our regents, we had global, U.S. history, and living environment. We had 3 students that were supposed to sit for the global, only 1 showed up. For U.S. history, we had 2 students that were supposed to sit, only 1 showed up. So that is something that we had a discussion about, how we can do some more outreach for next year to make sure kids actually come to sit for the regents. Neither of those 2 students passed. But our living environment, we have 9 students who were supposed to sit, 9 did sit, and 5 passed, which is an improvement from last year. We know we have a lot of work to do, but this makes me feel like we're definitely on the right path.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So the number of students you took, so the kids that didn't show up for the test, were they the students those 3 students who didn't finish the program?
No,
They
it wasn't. They were, and they were students that and despite phone calls home, reminders, they just did not show up. So I think that's something to really think about for next year, hitting it a little bit earlier and really making it more of a 6-week or 5-week reminder instead of just waiting.
And then if they don't take the regents again and someone passed, they have to take the class again in 10th grade for the next
If they
year?
got the credit recovery, they don't. They have to take the regents again. Yeah. And then, so we also did something a little different. Dr. Teeter came up with an algebra review standalone for Mondays, which really had a positive effect. We originally had 21 students registered for this review class or signed up for it. They didn't have to register. It's not a part of credit recovery. 16 actually attended regularly. Again, really good attendance. 14 were 80% to 100, 2 were 60 to 80% of the time. So we had a good amount of students that came and stuck with it. For the algebra regents, 5 passed. And then I did want to just put note, I did put the scoring levels. So 9 of them scored in the level 2 range. Again, better than last year. Definitely know there's work to be done, but feel like there's a good conversation to be had about how do we make those level 2s go to level 3 next year. And only 1 scored below 50. So I'm going to actually have you go down 1. Yeah. So at the end of the program, I decided to have a survey that I gave to students and the teachers because I believe in the value of feedback. And so I just kind of did a general survey about what they found was positive. And I love that this was the first response I got from a teacher. Most of the students were successful without having their phones for distraction. We did take cell phones, and as you all know, teenagers can be very sly. So we know that some teenagers kept their phones on them, but we only had to take 1 phone away from a student all summer, and that student gave it with compliance. Totally said, I messed up, and handed it over for the rest of the day with no problem. And I think a large part of that was because teachers were able to have conversations with kids and say, these are the expectations, this is what respect means. And they handled it without making it a battle. So I thought that was a really great, because that's something we were very nervous about. Other than that, a lot of the positives revolve around collaboration and really being able to work with students one-on-one. No, you can go down 1. Some of the things that they really thought we needed to work on was primarily scheduling. They thought that the 6 weeks was a little too long for the kids, especially with those 2 2-hour blocks. Kids by the fifth week were getting burned out. And more time for our planning, which we had already discussed that was a challenge going in. And then, so these are the student surveys, and I was so pleased with how seriously they took the surveys. Satisfied with the overall experience. You can see that we had the neutral. They didn't really think either way. But when I went to the next question of how did they feel about the curriculum, huge response for satisfied or very satisfied. They were really happy with what the curriculum contained. And then the schedule, again, kids seemed to be okay with the hours. They just thought also 6 weeks was a lot. By the 5th week, they were like, wow, we worked a lot. We worked hard. So that was the only unsatisfactory aspect I saw. And then this was just some of their suggestions for what they would change about the program for next year. I love that they were really thoughtful about this. Virtual classes or more bus runs to help with kids who were struggling to get there or only needed to be there for one class and didn't want to stay for the whole 4 hours. Maybe making the week shorter, and one that really speaks to me, less paperwork, more fun with learning. I think that is a really important thing to listen to. So overall, a recap, positive outcomes. Overall, we had an increase in attendance across all the programs. Students did pass the Regents, so we are definitely working in the right direction, I think. The orientation for credit recovery really helped to build trust and collaboration. That was the first time that that's been done, where I collected all the teachers together just to have kind of a pep talk for the first, before the first day, and they got a chance to plan together and really work on teamwork. The new schedule was shorter school week, but was more intensive for kids. Co-teaching and collaboration with colleagues was evident and strong. So for next steps, as I was talking with some of the teachers about what they thought or what they suggest, and even talking with Dr. Brunger, it's working during the school year to support all students through this. So what can we do during the school year that can make summer school more successful if kids need to be a part of that program? Building in more collaborative planning time for credit recovery teachers, including a review prep for all Regents. It's interesting because the Regents that we had the highest successes with was living environment and algebra. They both had their own standalone reviews. Global and US did not. Continuing to build rigor and engagement into the curriculum in order to meet students where they are. And then orientation, I would like to see orientation for the students the first day of summer school, because I think a lot of them would benefit from it, and I think the adults would benefit from it if we know that we're all on the same page. Giving them the expectations and having them be a part of that decision making, I think, would be beneficial. And I cannot stress enough my eternal thanks, especially to Nick Picado and Aaron Brady in the guidance department, who were stellar with parent communication, supporting me, getting me data. They were just such a great team together. All the high school office personnel, buildings and grounds that I kept nagging to lock doors so kids wouldn't wander. Kyle in food service, who just catered to all the kids' desires. The tech department, Bobby Joe in transportation for handling our busing issues. Even when we had kids who all of a sudden needed a bus and didn't need a bus and did need a bus, so she was great. The business office and all the administrative support. It was a wonderful experience, and I was so happy to be part of it. So if you have any questions or...
Is this the first year, or has this been going on, the summer credit recovery program?
It's been going on. I think my admin team can probably speak to more. This is the first time I've done it.
Administrators here that can answer that.
It's been going on for a while.
For a while.
Years.
Since I've been here, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to say since I've been here, I have probably the longest one.
Okay. I think the biggest takeaway for me for this program was the fact that we had that experiential learning factor, and clearly the kids learn when they are having fun, and when we plan lessons and activities that are meaningful for them. That's when you see the enthusiasm about learning and wanting to come to school. You see it clearly in the attendance. They came to school. These are kids that had issues coming to school. Now they don't. Well, I wonder why. It's because of that one-on-one relationship also that the teachers built in with the students and the fact that they were involved in and engaged in lessons that were meaningful for them. So I want to thank Katie for her leadership. She did a magnificent job. This was her first time. And I had a really wonderful exposure to the program. She and I met during one time in my office, and we talked about the program. And I was excited about the learning that was taking place. But I think that a lot of what we learned from this program can be carried out into a year-round program. And it can be, the lessons that we learn can be then applied to what we do every single year, and throughout the year for students. So thank you, Katie, for your hard work, and the students are amazing. You can see it in their faces and their smiles. So it's really nice to see.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very
Thank
much.
you
It
so much.
sounds like it was a great program. And thank you to all the instructors who came in this summer to do that, and everybody who supported them. It's a great thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lynette, superintendent's report?
Sure. Just to add on about the summer program, I really enjoyed having the opportunity to work with Katie beforehand and then afterward, just talking about the success and accomplishments. What was really great for me was as kids were coming in and out in the last week or so, finishing their exams, to see their genuine excitement in believing that they may have passed, and just them feeling really good about themselves and what they accomplished. That was really heartwarming to me. And one thing that I don't believe is mentioned, if it was, forgive me, but the Checkpoint A exam, which is a requirement to graduate from high school, there were 5 students that took that again this summer, and 4 of them passed. And Christina Proper came in and did a review with them, and so that's another success that we should add to all of that hard work this summer. Thank you. Today we, Dr. Elsa and I have been working the last couple of weeks on just getting ready for our days when our teachers come back, and then our students, and also getting ready for the new teacher orientation. Our new teachers who are available have the opportunity to attend Questar on Monday to get an overview and meet other teachers in the region. And they had their first session here today. They have a second day tomorrow. Through that collaboration and planning, the teachers union provided lunch for them today, and a lot of people came in to help, such as our instructional coaches. Ryan Proper and Sean Rao were here, and they got a lot of nuts and bolts, but they also got time to know each other, and tomorrow they'll go a little bit more in depth, so thank you for that. Tax bills will be mailed out on Friday. And I do want to just acknowledge all the hard work that Buildings and Grounds has done this summer, really saving taxpayers and our district on costs by being willing to do so much in-house with a team that has a lot of experts on it, all of the renovations inside. And I'm excited that we're in this space tonight because this is one of those accomplishments as well. And they're still working on the outside and the fields. They've done a lot of work. I will say we've had a couple people comment that the grounds don't look quite like they have in the past, but we did send out a message to everybody this afternoon because I felt it was really important that they understand that we have 2 huge projects going on with the roofing and the aquatic center and all of this interior that nobody driving by is going to see. And most of the fields have been very well prepared. I know that our athletic director and our coaches are really happy with how everything looks so far. So I do want to thank Nick and his team for all of that hard work. And the conference day agenda and a letter to faculty and staff will go out tomorrow morning. We really tried to take into account what teachers are asking for from collecting feedback over the last couple of years. And that includes a little bit longer lunch, at least on one day, so they can spend some time together. And a little bit more time in their classrooms and tech professional development. So John and his team had a whole list of things that teachers have been asking for, so we worked with them to prioritize what teachers and staff will have an opportunity to do. And lastly, we are welcoming our staff back with a breakfast on Tuesday, September 2nd from 7:30 to 8. So if any of you are available to come and be there to welcome them, we'd love to have you. If you can't do that, or you can do both, and you're available on September 4th, our students will be arriving around 7:45 a.m. on. And if you can come to see them and welcome them back and see their smiles, that would be great as well. Oh, I think I mentioned this in one of my board reports, and we've talked about it, but this is a little gift for all of you that all of our employees will get on the first day. Last year, our theme was raising the bar, which we're continuing to raise the bar, but this year we want to make sure everyone's staying charged and staying curious. So we have a little energy packet in here to add to your water, and we have a power cord to stay charged with all your devices, and it's a phone stand too, right? It opens up into a phone stand. So we hope that everyone will like that.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you.
Now we have the ex officio student board member report.
Okay, here it goes. All right, so my name is Violet, and I'm one of the ex officio student board members this year, and I'm super excited to be one of the ex officio board members, along with two of my colleagues, as you can see right here. I am going to be a senior next week, and one of the things that I'm looking forward to as a senior is going into the New Visions education program. This part of the reason why I chose this program was I think it would complement my pathways in education at New Visions a lot better. So that way I not only see what goes on in a classroom as a teacher, but also what goes on behind the scenes and as superintendent, as principal, as administration. So that way I know what else goes on in a school and what helps make a school run.
Thank you, Violet.
I'm Clyde Drake. Nice to meet you guys. Sorry I was late. I came straight from my first soccer scrimmage, which we won. But I've had a pretty awesome summer. I've been traveling, but I'm excited to be back. And I'm excited for senior year, mostly just to get the weight off of colleges and of applications and all that. But most of all, just, have one final year with all my friends, and hopefully it's a good year. And then, of course, to hopefully help communicate to the school board the best I can.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Francesca. I was here at the previous meeting, so you heard a little bit about my summer then. I wanted to give you an update as to what the senior class has been talking about recently. We created a group chat, so we've been discussing the senior parking spots, when to paint them. We've been voting on the senior class bonding trips that have been proposed by Ms. Webster, including hikes and barbecues in the fall season, as well as already brainstorming for our senior class trip about Pocono Valley or possibly a Lake George trip. Ms. Webster's been super duper crucial in communicating with the vice president, myself, and my president, Giselle Vidaka. So we've hopefully gotten the ball rolling and are entering the year strongly. As for the three of all your ex officio board members, next week we hope to give you a quick presentation about kind of a compilation of our ideas for our year, some of which include, but are not limited to, creating an alumni panel, starting current event announcements, a learning lab, and a junior NHS. We've just been brainstorming for a couple of months, so we hope to share it all with you at our September meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Board of Education member activity reports. Has anybody been active?
At 66 years old, activity is not something I do.
There hasn't been that much going on, right?
Yeah, it's not much.
My brother got married.
Huh, congratulations.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I kid because I care.
All right, let's move on to new business. We have some policies for first read, second read, and approval. We're trying to streamline the process with these, but we've all seen what these policies are, and need a motion to approve them? Joe, Margaret, second. The policy is 5695 for students and personal electronic devices, and 5310, the code of conduct.
Do you want me to talk about it for a second?
Hmm?
Did you want me to talk about it for a second, or it doesn't matter?
You can if you'd like. Does anybody have any questions on it?
So I think as everyone knows, there's been a state law passed, so all school districts and BOCES need to adopt a policy banning the use of internet-enabled devices during the school day. We were already on top of that last year with a soft rollout, and now we have an updated policy. And then we did the code of conduct. We had the open meeting tonight at 5:30 for any comments, but the code of conduct was updated, I believe, by the principals and vice principals together. And then the policy committee went over it. So we think it's in good shape. We appreciate any comments. That's kind of what tonight was for, but I think we're ready to go forward with it. Hopefully everybody got a chance to read it.
Yeah, if I could just add, it was administration with faculty that worked on putting all the updates together.
Yes.
And then the Board of Ed Policy Committee really going through that too, which I just want to commend them because that was a really long meeting and we were really thorough. And I just like that through all of it, not only was language cleaned up, but I think it reads a lot more friendly for our students. And I think we did all of that work really thinking about our children that attend here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Anything else?
Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Thank you. We have a bid from Denoyer Chevrolet for a truck. I need a motion in a second. Ron, Molly? This is for a Chevrolet work truck for $53,362.10. Any discussion?
10 cents. A big deal at 0.
They beat the guys who had 15 cents.
Well, I'm glad we got over on that one.
All in favor? Thank you. Contracts. We have the approval of the following contracts for this year. The first one is with Invo Healthcare for an applied behavior analysis. Lynette, do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Sure. So that is a contract that we have gone into because we are adding a self-contained kindergarten through second grade 812, which is 8 students, 1 TA, 2 aides. We have 1 teacher and 2 aides and TAs, I'm sorry, 8 students, 1 teacher, that's the ratio. Those students coming in, according to their IEPs, have some needs, so we want to make sure that we are doing this really well and successfully. We've purchased a curriculum for that classroom. The teacher will have some training tomorrow. And then Invo Healthcare will be in-house coaching that will be coming in to work in our classroom with our students and our teachers and the support staff to put the best practices in place to support our students behaviorally and emotionally. So helping them to have successful days and successful learning with the right kinds of responses to meet their needs.
Thank you. Any questions on that?
Oh, and I guess, Mr. Bebrock, I should just add too that part of this is an intention to bring more of our students or keep more of our students in district than them having to attend out-of-district placements. We want them to be part of our school community. We also want them to not have to be traveling to a location for their schooling every day. The more children we can have here, the better we feel that is.
Okay.
Thanks.
Did I get a motion for that? I didn't. Sorry. I need a motion. Molly, second. Margaret? Any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Textbook disposal. I need a motion. Margaret? Janine, second. This is approval of the disposal of various textbooks. Any questions?
These are because textbooks are no longer valid.
A lot of them are very outdated. I believe they were from like 2003.
They were from our office.
Yeah, where the office spaces, they've been sitting in the cabinets for many years.
All in favor? Thank you. We have a new course to approve. I need a motion. Margaret? Need a second? Molly? This is for the course Anatomy and Physiology in the junior senior high for grades 10 through 12. Any questions?
I'm just
All in
excited
favor?
we're offering it. I'm gonna say I think it's great.
Okay, great. All in favor? Thank you. And we need a textbook adoption for that course. I need a motion. Margaret? Molly? Any questions on the textbook? All in favor? We have a consultant services agreement for pupil personnel services. I need a motion. Margaret? Joe? This is for approving the services of Janet Orwick. I think you saw an update in Monette's weekly update about this. Does anybody have any questions on this?
Maybe.
Okay.
So is this like a temporary, I did kind of read something, but I wasn't sure, it's a temporary
Sure.
position or?
Yeah, so this is, Janet Orwick is a consultant. We have posted for a new director of PPS. We only had a couple applicants. We extended that through the 29th. We also have had a lot of turnover. We've had 3 people in that position since I arrived in the district. 4 in the last 4 to 5 years. So that kind of change, especially with something as delicate as IEPs and 504s, is an area where we really want to make sure that we are tightening up our systems and our practices and building some strength in that department. So we asked for somebody who's experienced to come on and help us during this transition before we hire somebody. Janet has also agreed to be here through the year. She'll be here 3 to 4 days a week, except for these upcoming 2 first weeks of school. She's going to be here every day to make sure that everything is all set, that she's visiting those newer classrooms that we've put in place, that self-contained K-1-2 class, and we have a 15-1 in the high school. And her staying all year would be, once we have somebody in that position, she'll be coming in to work with them at least once a week, just to make sure that we build those systems and practices and everybody knows what to expect and we can strengthen that department.
And then you said it ends August 29th, is it?
The posting ends on August 29th.
And then you post
We'll
it again?
see if we have more candidates. There's still only 2, but we'll keep it posted if we need to.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor? Thank you. Next up is an agreement between the district and the Taconic Hills Faculty Association. I need a motion. Margaret? Second? Second? Janine? Thank you. This is a agreement that concerns the changing of some assignments for 2 teachers, and we needed to have an agreement with the faculty association to do that. Are there any questions? All in favor? And lastly, under new business, we have the walk-on resolution, the amendment to the superintendent's employment agreement. Just to highlight it, let me get a motion first, please. Joe? Ron, second. The highlights of the amendment deal with a salary increase with some changes in the language for vacation time, and extends the term of our contract with Lynette to June 30th, 2029. Are there any questions? All in favor? Thank you. The acceptance of the personnel agenda. I need a motion. Molly? Joe? Let me just go through real quickly and highlight what's in here. There's a lot in here. When we go to vote, we're going to accept all of them, B through U. Yeah. We have in here some clerk typist positions that we're abolishing. We're going to establish Secretary 1 position. We're going to establish a computer operator position. That's kind of half of what Shirley Zitto was doing and half of a tech position. Going to establish a probationary elementary teacher position. We're going to give a leave of absence to an elementary art teacher, Alyssa Kipnis. We're going to appoint Nick Smith as the hygiene officer. That's not personal hygiene, right? That's chemical hygiene. I couldn't resist. We have a term appointment of an elementary teacher, Kayla Frischia. We have a probationary appointment of a registered nurse, Kate Lee Giuliano. We have a probationary appointment of an elementary teacher, Beth Kaiser. We have another probationary appointment of a special ed teacher, Elizabeth York. Probationary appointment of the Secretary 1, Aaron Brady. We have a probationary appointment of a teacher's aide, whose name is Mara Smith. We have another probationary appointment of a teacher's aide, Aaron Storm, and another teacher's aide, Crystal Albright. We have a probationary appointment of a bus attendant, Kathleen Mayhew. And we have a provisional appointment of a computer operator, Dawson Stark. We have extracurricular activity advisors for band, Mackenzie Alexander, and for the prevention program coordinator, Amy Janito. We have a before and after program aide appointment. That is Mara Smith and Crystal Albright. And summer regents, exam proctors, and scorers, Melanie Airy, Nicole Banyard, Fred Hutchinson, and Matt Fuller. Thank you all for stepping up for that. And we have a substitute that's going to join us again, Fred Yeager. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor? Thank you. Now we have a second public forum. Is there anybody for second public forum?
Me.
You?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd like to preface this by saying that this is not a representative of the board. It's just my personal feelings about something. Most of you know me. I've been around here for many years. I love this school. I joke around a lot. That's my nature because I'd rather laugh about a situation than cry about it. But today I am appalled at the shooting in Minnesota that killed 2 little kids while they were in church at the school, at a Christian school, which doesn't matter what faith it was, it just happened to be that. I implore you, I hope that I am going to write to every local, state, and federal person that I can think of and explain how I feel about this. And in hopes that one day, they will have enough courage and backbone to make the right decisions and put a proper gun law in place so that this never happens again. Enough is enough. And today I was really shocked when, and I know they didn't mean it this way, but they were saying, well, there were two children that died, 2, and 17 that were wounded. And they said, well, luckily 17 got just wounded, and where only 2 died, but normally it's the other way around. And I thought to myself, that's where we've fallen. That's where this country, this great country, has fallen to. This is what matters to people most, is keeping some amendment, some rights for something that absolutely there is no need for. I'm not talking about, being responsible and having defensive measures at home. I'm talking about shooting rifles that are designed only for one thing, to kill people. And now they're just killing children. It's the number one reason why little kids die. The number one reason. We're America. We seem to have forgotten that. We're supposed to fight this kind of stuff, not embrace it. So I implore everybody who feels the same way I do to write to everybody that they can think of, and maybe just one day, sometime before I die, they'll have enough courage to do the right thing. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ron. Well said.
Thank you.
Anybody else for public forum? If not, we'll move on to additional items to discuss. I don't have anything. Anybody else? Lynette?
No? No. I do. I just want to say that I appreciate that everyone takes school safety here very seriously, not just the physical, but also our students and their emotional state. It does matter. It's critical and important, and we'll continue to do everything we can to keep this school district as safe as possible.
All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Joe, Margaret, any discussion? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you all. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Welcome.
And welcome. Ex officio board member.